Hey, what's going on, family? It's your girl, P. Koffe Brown here in the great state of Texas by way of Houston. And I have come across a unique way for you to turn your phone into a well-oiled money-making machine with just a few clicks of a few buttons from learning a skill set that will not only pay you today, but it will pay you for life. If you want to know more information about how you can participate in our community and start learning today and earning while you're learning, you can literally take 1 to 2 hours a day to eliminate the 8 to 10 hours you're giving to somebody else. Listen, hit me up. Let me know you're open and interested. I'd love to share with you what we're doing and how it can be a blessing to you and your family. Do not wait. Start making this thing pay you. Let the phone pay for itself, family. Love you guys. Enjoy the balance of the day. Peace. And don't forget, comment TNT. Peace. What's up, family? Listen, y'all miss what happens before we go live every single time the show airs. It is some absolute crazy that happens before this show airs, and that is why Shamika is smiling.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
You never know.
I mean, after all, for someone who always doesn't want to be called doctor or whatever, she always put doctor on there. So, someone who doesn't want titles and
y'all
stuff,
can put some respect on my name. I did earn that, but that's not all of who I am.
No,
she said she earned it, Jason. So
she did earn it. Hey, man, that's a heck of an accomplishment.
It sure is.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she's like, I just want to be known as Shamika sometimes on certain platforms. And then all of a sudden, what shows up? Doctor.
We're going to, Dr. Harris, we're so proud of you.
I am very proud of you. Kudos.
I'm so done. With the fake clap, too? Really?
You want me to clap loud while we're on a podcast? You want me to clap?
Please. You are
hit you with that juvenile hand clap?
He cutting up. He cutting up today.
He right. Like, he feeling really good today.
Thank you, Vincent.
Right. You must have had your Wheaties this morning or something.
I was able to get a few things fixed. I'm tired. I'm off tomorrow. I'm happy. I'm in a good place.
Go out with a bang.
All of this excitement. You got another.
Right now I'm in front of a camera, and tomorrow I'll be in front of a camera. Yeah.
Okay.
Different pretense, but yeah.
I like
with my daughter. So that's the good thing. That's what makes it fun.
Snap claps for baby girl in film. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
So I'll be acting with the little human.
That's awesome. I love that for you.
That's gonna be amazing. That's gonna be so fun.
Yes, that is super dope. Yeah. All right, listen. There is so much going on right now in our universe. And we want to acknowledge all the families who have had to deal with the loss of the loved ones in the Austin area due to the flooding situation, the storm that came through during the 4th of July holiday weekend and claimed the lives of 100 plus individuals. Based on the last report I saw in the news, and a lot of them were very young people. There was one guy in particular, his mom and dad were out camping that weekend, and both of them were succumbed by the storm. Their actual RV just was swept away in the current, and they just now found the dad's remains, and they're still looking for the mom's remains. So it's very, very unfortunate. I got a little bit of a annoyance with this, because for them to say that there was no way to share any information about the probability of a storm heading that way, no possibility of them having any information, I'm not certain that I can buy that. Right. Especially with the level of technology that they always insist that they have access to and able to share everything else, I'm honestly not convinced that they had no knowledge of it whatsoever. I don't buy that. I really don't.
Well, allegedly the alert came out at like 1 something in the morning. I was like, that's when you found out that you was going to get this much water. Not just a bad storm, but this much water was at 1 something in the morning. And then, of course, your commander in thief, he done pretty much gutted all of these different programs to where who was going to send them, some of these alerts out anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate because the loss of life is totally not, it's just not necessary.
Right.
Like I remember in my area when they were developing out the new highway and they were asking us, we went to this meeting about it in regards to, and I said, how do you determine if the exits and entrances onto the expressway are solid and good exits and entrances? You know what they said? Fatalities.
Wow.
Message. Yeah.
Wow.
They said there's no way to determine, outside of the computer technology and things like that until they have some type of fatalities surrounding by maybe a blind spot or something that they were not able to gauge in architectural design and things like that. And when they were creating the exits and entrances, unfortunately, it was about 8 or 9 fatalities before they break.
Wow.
And I was like, and after we, went back and had another conversation, we were like, so because it's not your family, it just don't matter.
That's how they make it seem.
Y'all not gonna get off on the exit. Y'all not gonna get off on that exit because you know that you're not sure.
You're not sure.
Yeah, Koffe. I'm gonna need for you not to take that exit right now because we're collecting data.
Correct. So yeah, let me just tell my family not to get off on that exit because of the data. They're collecting data and they want to be certain that it's the way that they have it designed. It's viable. I'm like,
wow,
that's real. That's crazy, but it's true.
Wow,
it's very true. That's how they.
Yep.
I mean, it's crazy. It's real crazy. I mean, most people don't even know your insurance rate is not necessarily governed by your driving history. It's a combination of all of the challenges in the specific zip code where you reside. That plays such a massive part in how much you have to pay for somebody else's claims, basically. What it translates.
So if you stay around a bunch of idiots, just beware.
Yeah. And you
won't have a way
you won't have a way of knowing unless you know somebody in the industry that can kind of look at different, areas for you and say, hey, can you take a look at this area and see what the rating is over there and what the quality of the rating is and all that before you even purchase a property. I used to tell people when I was an agent, listen, I need you to check that zip code out about the insurances in that area before you go and make a permanent decision. Because if they got a lot of claims and houses and vehicles and all that kind of stuff, you're going to be paying out the yin yang and not know why. Yeah. So yeah, just little unknown and should know facts for sure. Unknown and should know facts.
Speak on it.
I mean, it's just, it shouldn't be some things that I think that consumers should not be ignorant about. Nobody's going to offer us certain information. It's still not like super public knowledge. But when people are in the industries, like, Jason was in loss prevention at one point. Of course, I did loss prevention with insurance as well. And when you are in those industries, I think it's important that we educate people to let them know, this is on the horizon, or this could affect, what's going on right now. And for a hot second, interest rates were starting to come down. And then all of a sudden, there was another announcement that they're going back up.
Right.
I was like, okay. And the bill was passed, and a lot of underprivileged children are going to be impacted by this bill because there would be no distribution of complimentary school foods in the the public
That's sad, man.
educational system. There will be no complimentary food for children.
Sad.
And that is a devastating blow considering, as a former teacher, how many children came in there hungry every
Hungry.
single day.
Every day.
Every
That was
single
pretty much their
day.
meal.
That was the only food that they were going to be able to have access to. So now it's not that the food won't be present; they will have to pay for it. It will have you have to pay for it now. And there are some children. The population of homeless children. A lot of people don't really realize this, but there's a very large population of homeless children. A huge population in America of homeless children in secondary education that literally do not have the basics. They live in group homes and all kinds of different things just to be able to have some form of shelter. They're homeless. It's a lot. It's a huge demographic of homeless children in our country that just goes not even discussed. Nobody even talks about the fact that what these children's needs are. I mean, I remember bringing clothes from my personal closet to make sure some of the girls had clothes and shoes. And like I used to tell my son, he used to think that I was crazy, but I would tell my son, if you're not wearing those shoes in the next 2 months, I'm taking them to school. He'd be like, why are you taking all my shoes? Because somebody don't have shoes. And they need shoes. And you sit up here with 25 pairs of shoes and you're not even thinking about wearing them. Dude, you ain't even think about it till I said something.
Correct.
And so, I mean, I would literally take clothes and shoes, and then my company would purchase brand new clothing for some of the parents, just to have basic, our nation, and a lot of people have said that people need to get jobs. They need to do this and they need to do that. The crisis in America right now is that these are not unemployed people. Okay. A lot of these parents are not unemployed. They're undercompensated in comparison with the inflated pricing in the economic stance.
Say that again.
They earn this, but the basic necessities cost that.
They raise everything but your pay.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there's not a healthy barrier that protects them that says, okay, well, you're in this bracket. We got to bring it down to this bracket. No, they don't care about that. So because of that, a lot of people are suffering, and it's not that they're not working. Some people are working 2 jobs just to make sure that they have gas and just basic food. I'm not talking about extravagant stuff. Not even extravagant.
But it also makes you wonder. It's like, okay, so these people are working 2 jobs, still can't, barely afford to pay bills. You just said that adults don't have the basic necessities. So what makes you think the kids do? And then you wonder why so many people are turning into sex workers and things like that. It's like, where are we going wrong as a country to where that is somebody's first choice for a career? Social media influencer, OnlyFans worker, or whatever. And it's just kind of like, come on, man. And that's not a knock on those particular companies or anything, but think about the mindset that you got to be in to where that's one of your first choices for a career. Yeah. And then you wonder why after you get done doing that, after you get a little older or whatever else, your value is diminished.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of what you had to do to survive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And again, and then, and you think about the fact that for the individuals that have chosen collegiate institutions to offset the defects, quote unquote, of not having enough education. Well, you can get a whole bunch of education, and that doesn't mean that the employer that you work with is going to compensate you any differently. Now you're back in the market attempting to find a new role. Now that you have a different level of qualifications, and you're still struggling because you can't find a new role. Then what?
Yep. And what most people do, they go back and get more education. And it's kind of like, okay, but if you don't have the experience to go along with the level of education that you have, this is where like with me being from a technical background, this is where I had that conversation with some people, because I've known several people that they get out, they try to get out in the job market. It doesn't happen for them. They go back to school to get their master's. They try to get out. It doesn't happen. They go back to school to try to get their PhD. And I remember going to a career fair. I think it was at U of H years ago, probably about 15, 20 years ago. And I was meeting a lot of students from overseas, and they basically come over here, I guess it's not a work visa. I guess it's a study visa or something, to go to school, whatever they call it. Mm-hmm. And basically they would go and get their bachelor's, master's, and their doctorate. And then they come demanding a 6-figure salary. And granted, this is 20 years ago. And they demanding a 6-figure salary. But you also got to sign their green card, their work visa, or whatever it is. You got to help them be able to stay to do this thing. Yeah. So it's like, but if you don't have the experience of actually getting out in the marketplace and doing something, it's like, unfortunately, most of these companies don't see the value.
Yeah. Or if you have too much experience and then you try to go on the back end and get the education, then they say, oh, you way overqualified now. You got all this experience and you got the education. Oh, we really can't. Oh, no. And you looking like, what we doing?
That's they don't
like they don't understand. I mean, if I've gotten all this education, don't you think I have to pay back? Like, how much do you think that bill is? How much do you think my loans are to get this education?
Right.
So just that alone is enough to say, you need to pay me what I'm worth. You need to pay me my value, because just the education, the price that you pay for education alone. I mean, you live in the same world I live in. You see how much inflation is, food, gas, housing. You see how expensive that is. So why is it now I'm overly qualified because I went and got educated?
And I actually work in that particular industry right now. The majority of the students, which these are adults, are foreigners over here on study visas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean more than I mean, like, it's more than half of them. And see, the thing is, they don't want to pay you. That's actually is a red flag. When they see all this education, that lets them know you automatically want compensation.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to nickel and dime you, or they give you the proverbial, you're overqualified.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How are you overqualified? The more knowledge is money. I'm sorry. And you want your worth. And that's why a lot of people, like, and you hear a lot of the big stars and the companies talk about this mentoring, but you got to pay them for their information. But then you won't pay me for my information for the job. So it puts you
message.
Yep. So it's a game.
Yeah.
It's a game.
And for anybody that's viewing this segment, we're not crying poor mouth. We're not saying that we're hungry and we don't have no. We're talking about the bigger picture of the common everyday individual that lives in this nation. The average family does not earn 50 grand. They're not bringing in $50,000 a year. That is that. I mean, think about it. What you gonna do with $50,000? I mean, you really cannot.
That is nothing.
I mean,
that's
just basic. If you add the numbers together to do basic rent, to live in a decent area, not even like a nothing fancy or elaborate, just decent.
Mm-hmm.
On average, you're going to be paying anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 a month just for maybe a couple of bedrooms.
Mm-hmm. And that's probably an apartment these days doing this.
Yeah, and then a vehicle now after post-pandemic, the same vehicle that we paid maybe $18,000-$20,000 for is now $40,000.
Yeah.
For the same.
And we're talking about a Honda Accord and stuff. And granted, nice cars and stuff, but I mean, 20 years ago, that car was $23,000 for a nice one, and now you go get a nice one, and you're in the 40s.
Right. So and that's what we're talking about. We're not, and I want anybody to misinterpret the conversation. It's imperative that we have conversations about what is happening in the real world. I know somebody who is very affluent and well off, who was in the store the other day and said, "Why do I have to pay almost $10 just for 2 bags of fruit? $10."
Thank you.
And this person is affluent and got plenty of money and looking like, I just paid $10 for like
for some grapes and some
I
oranges.
mean, really? Like, for real?
I don't know if y'all are aware. For a minute, the gas price dropped,
Yeah.
food
Yep.
prices dropped. Soon as May, the middle of May came, it shot right back up.
Oh yeah. That was just to make it seem like, hey, I did something for you, but it's not sustainable.
Well, you always know whenever there's a new election, the gas always goes down temporarily.
Right.
That's just one of their ways of,
Manipulation.
I mean,
That's
and it's important that we understand what's going on right now. So Jason and I was in a session. When was it? Yesterday, maybe the other day, about basically economic empowerment, right? And this one guy was talking about all of the digital currency and how the digital currency is on the move. And if you look at what the banks are now, some of the banks are accepting digital currency. A lot of retailers accept digital currency, so on and so forth. And a lot of people are not up to date on the education as far as what's going on. Matter of fact, Bitcoin hit nearly $120,000 in value today.
That's crazy.
And they're saying over the next decade, Bitcoin will be $1 million plus for one coin. Coin. So, go get you some digital currency. Get you a digital wallet. Go look it up. Start investigating it. Go get you a digital wallet. Buy you some digital currency and let it sit. Let it sit. The value it's going to be crazy tomorrow. I mean, just let it sit. For real.
Food for thought, a few months ago, Bitcoin was, and I'm talking about 3 months ago, Bitcoin was 102.
Yeah, and then it dropped down to like 60-something thousand. A lot
something
of
like that, and it shot back up to 120. So that lets you know what's going on. But see, it kind of flows like the stock market. At the end of the day, the stock market will go down, but it will always recovers.
Correct. And so you might want to start looking at digital currency and add that to your financial portfolio, because we are going to be a paperless society in all aspects, for real.
I mean, everybody's doing paperless banking now.
And
everybody does electronic banking. Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, we will definitely see it in our lifetime. So we wanted to conclude the amazing show that we had last week on culture, confidence, and calling, leading authentically in every space you enter. I mean, kudos to you guys from last week. DePria is out tonight. And of course, Jason was laughing at Landon. So Landon, huge shout out to you for what you're doing.
Man. Hey, you're doing good stuff.
Stroller Club.
Why are you laughing, doctor?
We definitely miss your presence on the show, but he will be back soon. But right now, he is just adding value to young dads who have children, and just it's amazing what they're doing in that space as far as supporting fathers. Women always have had a community of sorts when we have children, but men have not had communities that they can subscribe to help them and support them on their journey to being great dads as well. So kudos to you, Landon, out there doing the thing to add value to dads everywhere. So we're super excited about that. But I wanted to we talked about last week about the culture, and we talked about confidence, but we didn't get a chance to talk about something very interesting in this calling. When it comes to calling, it's basically what you deem to be your purpose, the thing that you feel that, you've been born to do, or you feel that it's truly valuable and you can add tremendous value to anybody. Service to many leads to greatness. And so whatever that purpose is. So I have a question for you guys. Have you ever had to choose between opportunity and obedience in your calling? Shamika, I'll start with you.
Ooh, that's a good question. And I actually feel like I'm in that space right now. I've been feeling like I'm being stretched to do exactly what my calling is. But, of course, there's always a risk that you have to weigh. And kind of take to God for prayer, in prayer, because that calling sometimes can be a little bit scary, and you have the opportunities on this side, but it's not exactly what God is calling you to. So I'm in that space right now at this moment, asking God which direction to take in that. Should I, follow the opportunity because it's going to be fruitful financially, or to just go out and do what I know He's called me to do, and depend on the outcome, knowing that it's going to be great because He's going to support it and He's actually calling me to that. But it's a risk, and any risk is a little bit scary. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
like
It
that.
should be.
And I like that answer because, um,
Mm-hmm.
every day we're faced with good decisions versus God or great decisions for those, that don't subscribe to, God. You may say it's a great decision, good decision
Right.
versus great decision, but we're challenged with that daily about good decisions versus great decisions, and weighing out, what is going to be a reflection of who I am as a humanoid and how I'm going to be able to impact, and what is my legacy, what is the dash going to look like for me in my life, and what is it that I'm able to do, and am I serving beneath my privileges right now, am I actually in the vein of where I'm supposed to be, and what I'm supposed to be doing. There was a one time I remember, and I don't recall exactly who said it, but they said if it pisses you off, that's where you're supposed to be at. If it pisses you off, and it
That
just
makes
it
sense.
just gets under your skin,
Yeah.
and you always got something to say about it, then that's where you need to be. That's the area where your focus needs to lie. If it's that pain point when somebody does it, you just get something happens to you on the inside. That's exactly where you definitely need to find your footing, and get your feet inside of. So I'm going to ask a different question. Jason, how do you stay anchored in your purpose when distractions or doubt shows its ugly face?
Ooh, dang, you would hit me
Wow.
with that question because I get
Wow.
distracted a lot. Okay, I get hit with distractions
We
all the time.
talked about that. We just
But
talked
here's the
about it.
deal: all distractions aren't bad things because your family can be a distraction. Your job can be a distraction. Any other business you do outside of your job can be a distraction, right? Depending on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. One of the things is what moves you, right? What drives you? Like you said, what? And when you say if it makes you upset, then most likely that's where you need to be. But what you're really talking about is a passion for trying to accomplish whatever that goal is, right? So that's the way I hear it when you say it upsets you because you're trying to make sure that you get it right. There's a passion there. If there's a passion there, then you're probably walking in your purpose, especially if you're not hurting anybody else. But when you're always going to have distractions, you should have distractions. You should look forward to having distractions because anything that you're trying to get that's positive, there has to be some type of negative energy that try to pull you away from it, right?
Hmm.
Or to try to obscure you from meeting that said, whatever said goal is. So, I mean, how do you deal with it? You buckle down, man. You actually focus more on what it is that you're trying to do. Because for someone like me who is easily distracted at times, or I lose focus at times, a lot of times I just slow down. I take a step back. I was something I like to call the mirror method, where I actually several times a year I will literally look myself in the eyes in the mirror because it's really hard to lie to yourself if you're really walking in your purpose. And I figure out exactly where the heck I am and where I'm going. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because you should be the hardest judge of yourself.
Love
And if other
yourself.
people are judging you harder than you're judging yourself, you're probably not doing something you're supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to have haters because basically that just means that there's a little bit of jealousy and
Hmm.
envy with other people. So you're supposed to have some haters, and everybody's not going to agree with what it is that you do. But you should also be the strongest judge of yourself if you're truly trying to get somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but distractions. I mean, I look forward to it. I mean, yeah, distract me. That's cool. And all I'm gonna do is when you miss me because I stepped away from you to go get refocused, then I was serious.
What I do like about what you said was something that I think we all have to really be clear on, and that is moving back.
Yeah.
Just kind of getting back for a second and regaining your footing, because the greatest thing about a battle is not the win, but knowing when to retreat. It's
Correct.
imperative
Yeah.
to understand when you have to dial back to move forward. And that's for your own safety and your own sanity. And that's a wisdom move, dialing back to move forward, taking assessment of where you are and making decisions not based on emotion or thinking that, oh, maybe this, that, like today I had a call and a session with somebody, and there was a point of a significant investment for something that another one of my partners and I would want to definitely tap into. And so the guy, he was smart with his approach. I mean, sales is sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, we can do this or you can do that. And he presented all these different options. I said, I pay in cash. I'm not using cards, and I'm not doing like afterpay
Mm-hmm.
and all. I'm not doing any of that stuff. And I said, if the investment doesn't complement where I am, then I'm definitely not pulling the trigger. I don't want no payments or
Yeah, I
nothing.
don't blame you.
It's a pretty steep investment for what it is that we want to do. However, I was telling the guy, I said, once I get with, my accountant and find out if this is a good time to do this, I'll let you know. He's like, well, how long is that going to take? Can we just get it done this weekend? No, you cannot get it done this weekend, because when you're dealing with somebody else, especially an accountant, you think I don't have to compensate him to look at stuff for me? I got to make a payment to him to get him to go look.
And then the
So,
fact that he's
I was,
pushing so hard, that would have me concerned as
That's
well.
a
Why are you
little
pushing so hard, and why are
Uh,
you trying
it
to
wasn't
hurry up and
even,
get me to
a
do it?
huge red
it
flag.
wasn't pressure. It was a
Oh,
part of
okay.
his clothes. And I understand that, because this is how I teach my other clients that own their own companies about,
Mm-hmm.
how to do those soft closes. He wasn't aggressive in nature at all. Not at all. He just presented options, which is what you're supposed to do, when you wanted to
Correct.
close somebody. However, being on the other side of that as the person that is on the receiving end, you have to know when to say, wait a minute. Speaking to what you were saying earlier, Jason, you have to know when to say, hold on, let me identify on my side if this is
Mm-hmm.
going to be a good fit for me, because I'm not making an emotional decision on something that's going to be so
That's
impactful.
right.
And that's
Correct.
not
Right.
going to be,
That's where
I'm
that.
going to use all logic for this, buddy. So you're not
Mhm.
going, you can't sway me either way. And he's supposed to
Mm-hmm.
present the options. I literally talked to one of my franchise owners this morning about overcoming objections. That's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to overcome all of my
Mm-hmm.
objections, to get to that bottom line. However, you have to know, like what Jason was saying earlier, and even Dr. Shamik was saying earlier, you got to know where you are, who you are, and what is going to really be that comfortable, you know, zone for you, that contentment zone, if you will, not comfortable, because
Mm-hmm.
comfort is not a good thing to be in, but contentment,
Right.
that
Mm-hmm.
area of
Mm-hmm.
contentment where you feel that sense of peace. And I didn't have peace about making that decision in that moment. There was no peace attached to it. And although I know it would be purposely impactful, it was no peace attached to it. And so I said, I'm gonna wait. I'm a think, weigh all the options that I have and then get back to you. So it's important that we all understand when it comes to being anchored. When you think about the word anchor, anchor is a weight, but it's a weight
Mm-hmm.
for a good reason.
Mhm.
If something is anchored, that means it's hunkered down, and it's going to take a
Mm-hmm.
lot to lift it out of position to go anywhere. If you're really anchored, you're hunkered down, you're focused. A good analogy is when you think about a horse. If they want that horse to focus, guess what? You're not going to be able to look left or right.
Yeah, they put blinders on. Yep.
Oh,
That's
you ain't
a
Tunnel
looking left
vision.
or right. You
You
looking
got
straight
tunnel
ahead.
vision.
If you're really at that place where you need to focus, you have to look straight ahead.
Correct.
Period. And there's nothing else to look at. No other options, no other choices. Just
Mhm.
straight ahead
Mm-hmm.
for what it is that you want to do. Vincent, chime in for us when it comes to that, anchoring, hunkering down, making sure that regardless of opportunities, that you're staying in the vein of what that calling is and what full well you need to be doing. How do you stay away from being distracted? What are some key things that one can do to not end up falling prey to what's inevitable, like Jason said, which is distractions?
Honestly, one of the biggest things that works for me is before I make any decision, I'm gonna talk to the man first, flat out. That's the first thing I do. And with that same sense of drive, that's how I am with anything. You're not gonna sway me to do anything
Mm-mm.
first if I feel uncomfortable. Because a lot of times, like you say, it's a salesman of whatever caliber's job is to have you with the best, options and the best deals. But at the same time, being a salesman, you need to be able to read body language. That says a lot to let a person know, hey man, I've said it in a nice manner. I'm gonna pull back for a little bit and sit back and weigh my options.
Mm-hmm.
Me pulling back, weighing my options is going to talk to the man first. Then I'm gonna talk to my significant other. If it's a business, you would talk to your partners first. You don't go, full cock trying to go into something just because it sounds and looks good. Because see, guess
Right.
what? All money is not good money.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You can get into a profession and a job. I've had several opportunities to move up in my profession. I'd rather have a slow dollar than a slow nickel than a fast dollar.
Ooh, I like it.
Cause see, I
Slow
already know
and a fast
me doing that is going to take me from my first main priority is my family. You
Mm-hmm.
can make all the money in the world, but here's what you don't understand: when you pull away from that money, who is going to take care of you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who is going to be your anchor? You know why?
That's
You
powerful.
chasing that money and taking them opportunities. Supposedly, guess what? You've already pulled your anchor up, and it's going to come back to hunt you later if you're not careful. So you got to weigh your options. So that's why I say before I make any move at all, let me talk to the man upstairs and see if this is the best option for me, and really listen to not just make myself seem like that's he's answered me. Nah, man, you need to take time, meditate, take some
Yeah.
time, pull back to yourself. Like
Yeah.
Jason said, look in the mirror and see if what you see is what you need and where you need to be. If it's not, if you got any hesitation, that is your early warning system, your gut feeling, which a lot of people choose not to listen to.
They don't
Mm-hmm.
listen. They don't.
Literally,
Mm-hmm.
if you can't sleep, your appetite is bad, you get a funny feeling in your gut. That's your that's your early warning system telling you it's not right.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies,
Speak on
y'all,
it.
ladies tend to do this all the time. I know when you're doing something. I can tell. Y'all have a sixth sense for that, ladies. Y'all were born with that.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that's what keeps me anchored. And then having someone to talk to, like a counsel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes, guess what? Once you done hit your knees, he may answer you through them. It ain't gonna always be how you want it to be.
Mm-hmm. And God
And
is
keep in
smart.
mind.
So
You
that's
you
one of the
gotta
things
have
that
people
kind of
involved.
keep me grounded.
Yeah, and God is
Exactly.
smart. He knows that people need
Yeah,
people.
you
You
need
know,
you
he,
need you need a
he's
village. You need a village.
absolutely people need people. And I think a lot of times when we're looking for an answer, we forget that it's a lot of times you like, yeah, it's gonna be a person. It's coming through a person. Just just,
It
just
is
wait for
coming
it.
to a
It's coming through a
person.
person.
Hey,
Yeah.
Coffee. I
Yep.
wanted to elaborate on what Vincent was talking about because this popped in my head. Because you was asking about distractions. People understand some distractions are good, some are bad, but also the main thing to understand is that some of these distractions are just there for a season.
Hmm.
They're literally there for a season, just like people come into your life just for a season sometimes.
Hmm.
Same thing with a distraction. I mean, it might just be for you to get a lesson. The other thing might be for you to make a change in the direction that you're going, right?
Hmm.
So just keep in mind a lot of these distractions just there for a season. Don't get so caught up on them.
And
To
two,
build you. It's to build character. It's to build
absolutely.
perseverance. It's to build, you know, things that you're going to need when it's time to fulfill your purpose. You're going to need all of this strength. You're going to need to
Hmm.
be able to have a voice. You're going to need all of these areas. You're going to need all of these things when you're walking in your purpose. And that's usually what a distraction is to build those areas up in you that needs to be built before you walk out that door and submit
Amen.
to the calling that God has called you to. I mean,
Man,
It's an area of testing for sure. It's an area of testing. We say it's like you say, it's the same concept when the child says, I want this, that, and the third. And the test of the parent is, let me help you. Let me see if you really want that. So you say this is what you want, right? I'm gonna give you that, but in exchange for me giving you that, you got to do this. And the test comes to see, are you willing to do this in order to get that? You say that's what you want, but are you willing to do this in order to get what it is that you say you want?
a lot of people
Distractions
don't
are
understand that, man.
testings. That's what they really are designed for. It is a test to see how are you going to respond based on what you said that you want, what you said that
You
you want to
cooking over
do,
there. I
what
like
you
it.
said you believe that you're supposed to be doing. Because
Oh,
we have free will. We have free will. And so we choose our path. We literally choose. We do have what's called discernment and unction and things of that nature that coincide with our spirit being. Of course, I'm not going to get deep into that, but we do have that system inside of us because we're spirit beings having a natural experience. And because we're spirit beings, we are attached directly to spirit, meaning that we're supposed to be driven by that, not by the natural aspect of who we are. And it's supposed to align us with divinity, which takes us to purpose. And it's so important that we understand that the distraction is being human, period. We're human. And that is the ultimate distraction, being a human, period.
And she did say something very important. You said that we all have free will. So all you distractions out there, be careful of who you actually test. Because some of us with free will we will run over you and we'll get you out the way. If you get in my way. Just please understand that I will run over you if you become too much of a distraction. You stand in my way. So yeah, be careful where you stand. Yeah.
And when you want something, like Eric Thomas says, when you want something as bad as you want to breathe, then there's nothing that will stop you from it.
Correct.
There'll be nothing that can take you away from it, period. No matter what obstacles show up or what comes your way. And Eric and I grew up in the same city and all those kind of lovely things. And he said something one day, and when his wife got diagnosed with MS, he was saying that he had to pick up and purchase a property in California for her because she had to be in a climate to where it would help her health to stay intact. And he was powerful. I'm going wherever I gotta go, period, because I'm not going to compromise what it is that I do for my wife's. I'm not doing that. That don't even sound right. This is the woman that I've been given, and I'm not going to not take care of myself, which is her, for the gain of something outside of that, like what Vincent was talking about. And I had a conversation with a client today, and it just kind of really broke my heart to see her overcome when it came to her son, who has now betrayed her and her spouse because of just a misunderstanding and a disagreement. And literally, she hasn't heard from her child in almost 2 years. No happy Mother's Day. No, mama, you're all right. No, nothing. And these people are, when I say they're very affluent and well off, they're extremely. She said, and all I've done for my child, help him open several businesses. Like I just been there to do anything humanly possible I can to be of value. She was like, nah, he wasn't undisciplined enough. Don't get it twisted now. We had strong discipline in our household and everything else. She just talked about how she just felt so betrayed and hurt, as a result of that. And you will. But guess what? That can be a distraction. That can still be a distraction. And I know some people be like, oh, that's insensitive. No, it's not insensitive. It's the truth.
Yeah, I was about to say that's not insensitive at all.
It's the truth. Because Jason will tell you, I had a personal incident that was super similar to that. And I could have, just kind of fell underneath the weight of the whole challenge. But I was like, I'm not losing no sleep over this. And I'm going to keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to stay focused. I got to stay. At some point, you got to stay focused. At some point, you literally have got to stay focused.
Here's the key, though. The test for you when you do that is not to listen to what your initial emotional response is to fold into that.
Ooh.
Yeah, facts.
That's where it
Ooh.
gets hard
Yeah.
because it'll make you question, like, hold on, man, am I making the right decision? It's tough love. Simple
Yep.
as what it is. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta let people know, not basically to appreciate you. Seriously, you got to
Yeah.
take care of the temple you were given. You were only given one, and if you
Yeah.
constantly letting people chip away at your temple and do this and do that, what's eventually going to happen? It is going to fall, crumble,
Right.
fold in, not fold out, but fold in, and
Right.
you allowed it.
Right. And you gotta be able to understand. I was listening to a podcast earlier, and this guy said you gotta understand your own temperament and your own personality. He was like, the
Mhm.
more you understand you, the better off you're gonna be as you take this journey through life. The more you understand, what impacts you, how it impacts you, when it impacts you, why it impacts you. He said the bigger grip you'll have on everything else. It's the power over self,
Yeah.
because distractions are external. They're not internal, they're external normally.
Yeah.
You do have some internal things as far as character flaws, which can be a huge distraction. But nonetheless, most distractions that we are faced with are external. It's something external that just, maybe like Jason was talking about, it could be somebody that, I mean, I hate to say it, but it could be like that person right there. I ain't gonna call no name, that person. you know, and they could be 115% against what it is you're supposed to be doing. But you still gotta do it.
Have
Oh
to.
man, who's that person again? Coffee?
Right there, right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't call no name, right there, over there, right there.
oh, that person across, diagonal from me.
You know
Oh,
what I'm talking about, that right there,
that person above Dr. Harris.
right.
I don't care what you say. I know I'm a distraction.
I
So
cannot. Did we
yeah,
not call people
you ain't
out
hurt
on
my
the
feelings. I
show?
know I'm a distraction.
You
I am
like
We
to
very
don't
call
call
people
people
lively
out.
out
at
You
on
calling
the
times.
show.
people out.
We are
I
not.
just
Listen, we're not talking about people on the show, y'all. We're not
no,
talking about. We're
definitely
not
we'll
talking about people
never
on the
do
show.
that, man.
I'm
We're
calling
talking
myself a
about.
distraction.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not talking about him. I'm talking
Uh,
about. Not. You know what I'm talking about? The person that sometimes the enemy
Yeah.
is in the bed with you. Is
the
what I'm
end,
yeah,
saying.
yeah, the distraction.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
sometimes the enemy is
Yeah,
not the enemy right there in the bed with you, and it's not that they have ill intentions, but sometimes it's just they believe that they're protecting you,
message.
and they have your best interest at heart. Well, I don't want you to do that because you might get hurt, or something might happen, or da 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 da. And all the while on the inside of you, that you feel that unction, that discernment, that pull towards that thing, and it keeps calling you. It won't leave you alone. It's steady calling you.
it's the
And you
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
gotta have the courage to answer. You gotta have the courage to answer, and you gotta have the courage to know that what you're doing is not going to be detrimental, but it's going to be a benefit to everybody. It's like the same thing with the guy, the book that was written, The Pursuit of Happiness.
Mm.
Mm.
Perfect example.
mm-hmm.
His enemy was right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To the left,
And
to the
while
right.
she didn't mean to be the enemy, she just didn't understand why he was so driven to do this one thing. Like, dude, why is this driving you so much? And look at the major impact that he made in that industry of
Yeah.
finance, and how today a
Yeah.
lot of brown people have been able to go indoors where they normally would never have been able to walk into, as a result of him and his yes, and pursuing with everything in him to get that result. Think
That's
about it. You
powerful.
talk about, I was raised on the same street as Rosa Parks. She's a person that impacted massively. And it wasn't just the bus. The bus was just one little thing that she did. She had a major impact
Mhm.
in civil rights and freedom and women's rights and all these different things. She was a major, major, major philanthropist, huge
Mhm.
philanthropist. She goes under detected so much. Everybody focuses on Rosa Parks and the bus. She said she did so much more. and so many other individuals that have done so many things that have helped us to get to where we are, even right now. You can look at Jason made a statement earlier talking about his daughter paving that way, opening that door for her, making sure that he still got that, that discernment to know what door that she doesn't need to go through at the age where she's at right now, engaging those opportunities and making sure that he's created that. Shamika's done the same thing, Vincent, same thing, myself, same thing. Just opening up these doors to make sure that we bridge that gap for the future of our families and building for our last name, and to make sure that we're the forerunners of the changes that we wanted to see made in our families 110%. But knowing that we couldn't give into the distractions, couldn't give into the opportunities when somebody presented a whole bunch of money. Well, the baby can be in this movie if she do this and that, and we'll pay her. No, I don't think so. Because a couple of years ago, Jason was talking about that. There was a big opportunity. And he and his wife were like, no, she can't do that. No.
Right. Yeah.
No, too young. Can't do it. And it's this is so important as leaders. A lot of people don't deem themselves as a leader, but if you are leading a family, you're a leader. You're a leader, and that's one of the greatest impacts you can have is leading your family.
The most important ones.
Yeah,
that is, because guess what? You do have all these accolades outside. Once again, who's ever in your house is your most precious gift. That was given to you.
Yep, facts. Facts.
And see, like I said, there are tests that are so close to home to you, but a lot of times people fail them every time.
Right.
Like, Jason, how many times you've been working and been in a stressful mood, and your daughters will come, hey, Dad, blah, blah, this, and immediately you stop and address or whatever they're going to, and it takes your mind off what you were doing. It may frustrate you initially, but it, like, you know what? And to be a pivotal, or what we used to call a learning moment or a teachable moment, guess what? It was meant for that to happen.
True.
It happens to me all the time. And what it did,
especially with younger kids,
it made me stop and gauge a lot of things in parenting and just well as in leadership with how to deal with adults. Because a lot of times, Koffe, how many times you get interrupted by clients all the time and you be knee deep in stuff, and they have to teach. They at that moment they're so upset and they need to speak to you, and you take it upon yourself. You know what? I took this role. Let me stop for a second and deal with it. And it gives you, it trains you to have thicker skin, and helps you to be more of a servant leader. And see, that's what a lot of times people are not, especially in leadership. You're not a servant leader.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know what the word service means. Serving means. They have no idea.
Yeah, that's because they're too stuck on themselves.
Yeah. Some of my clients were in, away out of the country over this past week, and my name came up. So of course, when some of the other leaders within our organization came back, they were like, man, they were just singing your praises and all this, and I was like, that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
I mean, it's a part of what my responsibilities, and it shouldn't be an issue. It should be, it's a part of why you asked me to come here in the first place.
What's understood does not have
message.
I mean, you asked me to come here, and this is what is required of me to, to do it, and it's a part of what it's a part of what they need, and it's just important that we really get a grip on what is our calling. It doesn't matter what your age is. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your age is. It doesn't matter your ethnos. It doesn't matter your religious background or the lack thereof, or any of those factors. No matter what size you are, how tall, how short. It's just a matter of you sitting with yourself to identify what has impacted you so much so that it's left some kind of touch on your heart, that when you even think about it, you can sense that you need to do something. And that is the area that I encourage you to start exploring, regardless of what your age is. But as we wrap up, this has been a powerful discussion as we concluded this conversation. But what's one thing that you guys would say to someone in 30 seconds or a minute? What's one thing that you would say to somebody who is struggling with being their authentic self within the leadership space? What is something that you would share with them?
Get uncomfortable. 2 words, get uncomfortable. The reason why you're scared to step into your leadership role is because you're too worried about being comfortable. Stop being afraid to make mistakes. Get uncomfortable. I
Yeah.
talk to people before, like some people, they say, well, you're an actor, so you don't mind doing public speaking. I was like, I became an actor because I didn't mind doing public speaking. It wasn't the other way around. It wasn't like I was an actor, somebody put a microphone in my face in front of a conference, and then all of a sudden I started talking. No, there was a need for someone to speak out and do some things. And I was getting tired of certain situations. So I started speaking out. That's how I got comfortable with it. Because I got comfortable with that, I decided to go step in front of a camera and start acting, or to go get on stage, because I started finding a level of pleasure in doing so. Get uncomfortable, learn how to speak in a public setting. It doesn't have to be a big conference or anything like that, but learn how to speak in a public setting. It can be a group of 5 or 6 of y'all. That still means that you're in leadership. If they're looking to you for guidance, you're a leader. Now, what you do with that leadership is what actually will make you powerful or not. But get
Exactly.
uncomfortable.
Shamika?
And know that, as a leader, you're you're gonna have to get to a place where you just know you're gonna make mistakes. Like I feel like leaders always feel that they have to be perfect, you have to be on all the time, you have to have all the answers. But why would you want to know all the answers? I mean, I feel like that we
Right.
come to the end if you won't have all the answers. But you should be evolving every day, evolving, getting better, growing. In whatever the space is for you, you should be authentically wanting to be the best you and not feeling like, oh, I don't know this or there's nothing else I can learn. You need to be able to learn in every area, in every role,
Hmm.
every be somebody who's willing to learn. In these spaces, I say yes to these things because this is not a strong suit of mine. Public speaking is not a strong suit. But I say yes because it makes me, in my uncomfortableness, it pushes me, it stretches me to become the best leader. If I want to go in a different space, if I want to evolve and grow in areas, I need to get out there. I put myself out there and
Hmm.
mistakes. Sometimes I don't say the right things, but I'm growing as I do these things. So be willing to learn and grow.
I love it. Vincent?
I would say in it's two things. One, be quick to listen and slow to react.
Hmm.
And I say this to say this. Leader does not mean I have all the answers like Dr. Harris said. Sometimes you need to know your resources. Know who's on your team. We talked about this
Hmm.
earlier. Build you a village that works. Our wonderful president, he has one. You don't think he's everywhere and he knows all these things? He has a team that does it. He's smart enough to know this one. I don't know everything, but I pay you enough money to make sure I look good.
Hmm.
That's
He
why he don't
built.
answer questions.
Thank you. So slow to react, quick to listen, and know your team. Build you a village like that helps you to make
Yeah,
the decisions, and y'all come together. So here's the thing: the more you empower them, the more they gonna empower you and make you look back good.
that's a
Yes.
fact.
That's how you build
That's a
a
fact.
corporation. That's how you build a team, and that's how your business stays where it needs to be or gets where it should be. Because you got to ask
Yeah,
yourself once again, if you're not where you're supposed to be, it's probably a reason.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And
I
guess
love it.
what? That reason is you looking in that mirror.
I was just about to say that reason stares at you every day. Yep.
Facts all
that's
day.
a new exercise. That's a new exercise. Stand in that mirror.
Yeah.
Stand in that mirror.
We talked about that. Remember, we talked about that on one episode. About I was speaking about they have a mirror. What the mirrors that we see is reflecting at a certain. I forgot what it's called. It's not a pure mirror. And he said if you actually see what you really look like at the correct angle, a lot of people probably couldn't take it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you ever notice, mirrors are not created equally. You can go to 20 different places and see 20 different things.
Yeah.
They're definitely not created equally, for sure. Definitely. Well, this has been an amazing episode as always. You guys, brought the pain. Jason came in talking smack about
That was
love. That was love.
Was it love?
Yeah, if you want me to talk smack, I'll see you at this next show.
You know what? I'm done. I cannot. But listen,
I will
guys,
shake your trees.
Right? Listen, guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning and tapping into this week's edition of the P. Koffe Brown Show. So excited about everything that's coming up for these amazing thought leaders and everything that's going to be happening over the next season of the show. We're so excited and super grateful for each and every one of you that take time out of your schedule to watch us on television and on live streaming when we're live each and every Sunday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. And until next time, grace and peace, and we'll see you all for another edition of the P. Koffe Brown Show. Peace.
Bye, guys.